Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta with the latest in business here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. U.S. stocks ended sharply higher Thursday as investors cheered last week's data on jobless claims. The Dow Jones Industrial Average surged nearly 2%, while the S&P 500 and NASDAQ shot up by over 2%. Claims for unemployment benefits declined by 17,000 to 233,000 last week, easing worries over America's labor market. Traders also cited an unwinding of positions of carry trades where investors borrow money from economies with low interest rates to fund their bets in high-yielding assets elsewhere. Meanwhile, European shares.
When we unwind that trade, we kick a lot of things around in the markets, and we also raise a lot of cash. So I also think what we've seen today is a little bit of a sigh of relief with the unemployment numbers, or new unemployment numbers, I should say, and then a chance to go in and pick up some favored stocks at prices that look kind of attractive now. You know, overall, we hit 10% off the market high. That's very typical in the middle of the year, but it's also an attractive entry point as people are still pondering what they want to own.
Meanwhile, European shares closed mixed with the benchmark index slightly higher thanks to America's encouraging jobs market data. But London's FTSE 100 slipped as investors assessed corporate earnings and as top players traded regardless of dividend payouts. Now let's take a look at the figures at the Philippine Stock Exchange after the PSE index extended its gains yesterday. Looks like we're taking a cue from Wall Street's rally overnight. We're seeing a sea of green in the local market. The PSE index is up by 0.7% to 65.95. The broader all shares index up by about as much as well, up by 0.6% to 35.94. Financial sub-index, industrial index, holding firm services, mining and oil, and property are all in the green. Financials up by 1%. Industrial sector up by just 0.1%. Holding firms up by 0.6%. Services sector up by 0.7%. Mining and oil sector up by 0.7%. And the property sector up by about 0.8%. Now let's take a look at the foreign exchange market. As of today, August 9th, the peso opened at 57 pesos and 45 centavos, strengthening from yesterday's close of 57 pesos and 68 centavos. And right now it's trading between a range of 57.30 and 57.45. Now onto some earnings data. East Zone concessionaire Manila Water sees its profit in the first half soar by 37%. The company reported a net income of 6.9 billion pesos for the period. That's up from over 5 billion pesos in the same period last year. Revenues climbed 19% year-on-year to 18.4 billion pesos. Manila Water attributed the growth to tariff adjustments and to increases in water consumption. Overseas, China's top chipmaker SMIC suffers a sharp year-on-year drop in its second quarter net profit. The latest figure stood at $165 million, down nearly 60% from the same period in 2023. This comes as advanced chip production remains limited, constraining SMIC's ability to fully capitalize on the artificial intelligence boom, driving growth for some rivals. Meantime, Warner Brothers Discovery also reporting disappointing quarterly results. The entertainment giant brought in $9.7 billion in revenues in Q2. That's a 6% decline year-on-year. Their net losses are at $10 billion. The shares of the company also plunged 12% in pre-market trade Thursday after they announced the $9 billion write-down of its TV assets. And those were the latest business stories this hour. I'm Maiki Oreta. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.